We are bracing for a tropical storm this week here, going into the 20th of September. So a lot's been going on, and I wanted to stop and do at least a what I ate video. So I thought, hey, why not settle in and do a video? These sorts of videos are reminders, my friends. They're reminders that you need to remember that your dark side is just as needed as your light side. The times when you're moved to eat right are great. The times when you are moved to not care and eat whatever is available, even if that is standard American diet food, that's needed too. Because you'll be a better eater, you'll be healthier, you'll feel better, and you'll be better off in terms of life mastery skill if you respect your body's ability to be on the straight and narrow only at certain times. This is a life skill. And so for those of you who are food purists who don't quite get why I do what I do, I'm telling you, you need to listen. It is so very common for food purists to make the classic error of getting on a diet tangent that lasts 4 to 8 months or so, and then to jump off and derail and realize they've developed an allergy or a health condition because they've shocked their body and they've overridden their mind to not be able to handle things. The only decoration I have in my place is a cylinder made of obsidian, black obsidian, and it is the void, like a black hole. And it is a reminder that when you see it, it's the ground. Everything in your life has a negative. I look at all of my negative qualities and I say, guess what? I'm not perfect. I'm impatient. I'm quickly angered. I'm not perfect, but I know my limits. And I know that by having those things, I am being honest and being true to myself, and those limit the worst of me. In other words, I don't get any worse than that. I know my limits. I know that I'm not perfect, and neither should I try to be, neither should you. So with that little tidbit of wisdom said, let's begin and get it going with a triple meat Whataburger to get us on the ball here. Ketchup, extra onions, and light mayo with pickles and tomatoes. That's how I normally do my triple meat Whataburger. I don't get cheese on a burger, and so this is a quick meal that I wanted to do for the sake of being prepared for a busy day. Those bananas are or were going to go bad, so I said I have to finish them today, but it's always good. So you put all that together with a handful of almonds, not even a handful there, just a few almonds, you've got a meal. Most people don't know that almonds are, if you get the ones I have there, they're honey roasted almonds. They taste just as good as any honey roasted peanut, and they're very filling. They are a great source of plant fats that are super healthy for your body. I believe that if you have any sort of thyroid trouble, if you have any sort of struggles that you've been dealing with in terms of autoimmunity or sluggish thyroid, you should be doing those things. And I say that because other people who have tried that have found that it helps. I know that I feel great. I try to have almonds at nearly every meal. That's how awesome they are, because they reset your body and they give you so much of what you need by way of micronutrients. So I have a triple meat Whataburger. I have the little few almonds, and then I have bananas. I have my sweet, and I have my substantial. Not the best meal, but it's a great meal to be able to function. Moving on. And here we transition to a healthier routine. We again have a banana, but we have a vegetable medley and rice blend. Now, not a lot of people know. If you just have some vegetable broth or chicken broth or even jalapeno broth, something that is a plant-based all-purpose seasoning, if you add that to a big bowl of rice and just vegetables, you don't even have to cook up a bag. You can cook up frozen vegetables like vegetable medley you put in your freezer, or you can just open a bunch of cans and just put them, drain them, wash them, and then cook them for about 10 minutes, and then spice them, and then drain them, and you have a good substantial meal of corn, peas, lima beans, and stuff that isn't great, but when you mix it with rice and a little bit of seasoning, it's not a bad meal. In the bowl there are the corn chips with Cuban black beans. Now, you're going to see this a recurrent theme in this particular showdown here, because Cuban black beans, people don't know this, but I'm about to give you a big secret here. If you just add a can of tomato sauce or even a small helping of it, and it can even be something like picante sauce, something that's not quite enchilada sauce, something that's not even totally legit. If you just add a tablespoon of chili powder and then add Fritos and stir it, make sure it's hot, like cook it on the stove so it's really hot, and then pour it over Fritos, you have Frito pie, my friend, and it tastes really, really good. So I got a nice salty batch of chicken broth seasoned. It's like vegan fake chicken broth. It's not really chicken broth, but it tastes like it. With Cuban black beans and a banana. It's all I needed for the day. But it's a great way to go, and not a lot of people realize you can do that and have a meal for several days if you make enough. Moving on. We have, again, the vegetable medley in the back, and then we have the rice, which I managed to finish off. In the front are white beans with mushrooms, which I cooked that way. I just popped open a couple of cans of white beans and cooked them 20 more minutes, rinsed them, drained them, cooked them 20 minutes with Monterey mushrooms. Now, what the sausage there is actually turkey sausage. I have learned that you can get a much better type of like packaged sausage when I'm in the mood for it. Every once in a while I get in the mood for sausage. I just want sausage. Do the turkey sausage, because even if it's a little more bland than pork or beef, I feel better when I eat it. Maybe that's in my head, but to me it feels really good. And so if you just get Eckert, I forget the brand I use. Sometimes I just use the Kroger brand, and I do just turkey sausage chopped up. It makes a whole meal with the white beans. It's kind of become a thing for me. Now you see the chopped up Fuji sweet apple and then the banana. Here's a rule: when you have fruits with your meals, you start with fruits. If you have a juice, it may be good a lot of times, if it's a fresh juice, to go ahead and get it on an empty stomach. That's a bit of advice for you. Just pop it in the first and then swallow that so that your body can absorb it more easily, even though it's all going to the same place. On the napkin there, more honey roasted almonds, graham crackers, and a graham cracker with peanut butter on it. And that was a nice day's meal. You see, I keep my meat generally minimal, and this has been true since the other videos, and I get so much response from some of the videos I post, and I keep mentioning and reminding my viewers, my meals aren't the same. And the reason for that is because I understand flow. I understand what it means to go through life and enjoy the changing times and agendas and things of that nature. But turkey sausage is actually a good overlooked way to go. Next day, an extra dinner was given to me from work. There was a special event with a nice manly meat burrito there, and it had some sauce on it with Spanish rice and charro beans. I have for the beverage there, I just have a coffee, and that coffee I just popped some Splenda in it. I cannot tell you why, but that coffee was the most sweet coffee that I've ever had. Not because of the Splenda, the mixture. It just tasted right. It did not even taste like normal coffee. I've never in my life had such a good coffee as what you're looking at here. Burrito, it looks like really tasty. It wasn't quite as tasty as I thought it would be, but it hit the spot because I was really hungry. And this did it, just this single plate at work. Correlate between busy and staying active and eating less. I've mentioned that in other videos. Moving on yet again, and we're back to Frito pie with the bean of your choice. If you do pinto beans, if you do black beans, if you do yellow Mayakoba beans, which I've talked about before, just take some chili powder, mix it with tomato sauce, and boil it when when you put them in like a pan, after you actually cook the beans, if they're not cooked, you just put them and you just reheat them as like you would chili. Guess what? It tastes like chili. You don't miss it at all. I don't miss the meat in chili at all. So I have Fritos, which, by the way, are actually plant-based completely. They don't have any animal products or byproducts in them. You pour them over with, in this case, pinto beans with chili and tomato sauce. You mix it together, throw some nutritional yeast on there, and let all of that good, delicious, hot, steamy Frito pie just meld into one nice corn substantial meal that goes further. And of course, you can see that I threw on pico de gallo. What you can't see is that I have some nutritional yeast on there. It doubles as cheese. For those of you who have no experience with nutritional yeast, it doubles as cheese. A little plate of corn, a little bowl of corn there, and I put a little dab of butter on there, salt, pepper, and butter. I have no idea why I enjoy, and I have since probably as a teenager, I can make a whole bowl of corn, like a whole meal of corn nearly. And it just tastes good to me. So I do that. I do beans and corn, and then I have the Fritos for body to provide substance to the beans. And I feel like I've had a full chili, like a Frito pie. Doesn't this look delicious? Put in the comments if you don't like this. Put in the comments if you do like this. But for those of you who want extra, you can add bell peppers, you can add chopped tomatoes, you can add, I've done more elaborate versions, but this is another completely plant-based way to eat. 2 bananas, raisins, handful of raisins, and a handful of the same honey roasted almonds. Delicious, substantial, can't go wrong. For the beverage, I have almond milk with Hershey's Simple 5 high fructose corn syrup free milk, which really isn't milk. It's non-dairy goodness. And Michaela just had almond chocolate milk for the first time, this same batch I had here, which I gave one to her, and she loved it. She did not. Most people don't realize how good almond milk is. It's actually better than cow's milk, and it doesn't leave you phlegmy or having any sort of allergic reaction. This was one of the best meals of my week. And here we are again with the chocolate milk, even chocolatier this time, with a small plate of nicely crunchy French fries and fish strips, I guess, fish patties. Now, confession, I did have more on this plate. I forgot to take the picture. I ate a couple. I had 3 other fish patties and more fries, and then I reached over for the phone, snapped the video, even before I cut into the other ketchup packet that you see remaining here. So what I was actually eating was a little more food than you can see, but still one plate. And yet again, we return to Frito pie mania. This was the same pinto bean, freshly cooked. I did cook the mushrooms in there. When I boil my beans, I do them 2.5 hours on high heat, medium highish, like around 8 or 9 on the stove. And then I throw in the mushrooms the last 20 minutes. So they cook thoroughly, but they don't cook all to pieces. If you put in the mushrooms too early, you're going to have trouble because they're going to eventually fall apart. It started with the fruit, blueberries, and another Fuji apple, which is always, when you see me fruit on a plate, it's the way I've been doing it for a long time. Actually, ever since I perfected my OMAD game. Apple, banana, blueberries, pinto beans on top of delicious Fritos, and you see the couple corn chips there, and nutritional yeast. I don't miss anything. This is my best healthy meal that I eat consistently, my friends. And if you look closely behind the chips, there's that container of salsa. That's not any salsa. That's Carolina Reaper salsa. So for those of you who are wussies and can't stand hot stuff, you better stay away because you would not want that salsa. That's really hot. Another of the most delicious meals of the week. And what do we have to... I think I ate this right before I started on the... I started in on the frito pie there. I did the peanut butter, a dab of peanut butter, creamy organic peanut butter with Hershey's chocolate right over raw old-fashioned oats. That's my chocolate treat, in addition to my chocolate almond milk. And then, of course, you guessed it, raisins and honey roasted almonds. Is my life good or is my life good? I thought so. And my girlfriend and I went out to Saltgrass day before yesterday. Sweet tea with a queso, which you can see in the metal pan off to the side on your left. Nice chips. It was the best queso I've ever had. She thought so as well. Herb Spanish rice with country fried or chicken fried steak with country gravy and mashed potatoes. This was all great. I got a jalapeno and just bit straight into it. Believe you me, this was a good dinner. I guess it's about, 2,400 calories if you add up the 2 sweet tea refills I had and the queso and the steak and everything. I'm going to put that around 2,500 calories, 2,400 calories. What do you say? What do you think? To top it off, today's meal was carrot and apple juice, uh, of course, chocolate almond milk, and what you see in that little shot glass right there is sake, rice wine. This is the only time, you guys know I don't drink, but this is the only time I do this. I've developed a ritual on Sundays. Right when I'm through with the meal, I take a shot. It's just one shot. The reason being, rice wine is one of the best ways to rid your intestinal tract of parasites. It is one of the most powerful things you can consume, but only in small quantities. I now do that on Sundays. And we have, again, graham crackers. We have the raisins and the honey roasted almonds, but we also have the goji berries, which I have a big bag of, which are not really tasty. They kind of get stuck in your teeth. They're very tough, but they are nonetheless great for your body. The longest lived people in the world eat goji berries. I've developed actually a taste for them, believe it or not, even though they are definitely not on the list of conventional tasty foods. And frito pie with the same stuff, you've heard me break it down. It's the same stuff. I put more diced tomatoes this time. I put pico de gallo more than I normally do, and I have a larger bowl, plus the corn. And that finishes out the week. Thanks for watching.